Well, thank you everybody for joining. We are very excited to host Jeff today to show us a bunch of cool ways that he's been able to automate his business and get more time back for himself. So we'll do a quick round of introductions. As you probably know, I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing at RepairDesk, and work with all of our wonderful customers on a daily basis. Jeff, over to you.
Hi there, I'm Jeff. I own my business is called One Byte Technology. We're in freezing cold Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's minus 21 Celsius today, which sucks, but that's why I picked today for the webinar so I wouldn't have to go to work, which is super nice. But yeah, we've got a single location, and I'm probably a little bit of a tech nerd, so I love working with this kind of stuff to try and automate things so that one day I can be handed off. That's the goal.
Awesome. Osman, anything to add before we jump in?
Hello everyone, my name is Usman. I'm the founder and CEO at RepairDesk. I started RepairDesk about 10 years ago, back in 2014. Still enjoying what we are doing. This year has been transformational for us. We've made a lot of internal improvements, and some of the improvements you probably have seen as well. I've started working very closely with the product team. We launched the new ticker interface, the membership module as well, which allow you to sell subscriptions to your customers and generate recurring revenue. So we have received great feedback on our new ticket interface, and very excited for our next year. We will be working on a lot of cool workflow automations and contracts, SLA, and RMM integration, and partnering up with more vendors you use. So just helping you automate more of your work so you can focus on growing your business. So once again, thank you for using our platform and joining this webinar as well, where one of our favorite customers, Jeff, will walk you through on how he makes the full use of RepairDesk Automations that helps him streamline his work. So over to you, Jeff, and answer.
Thank you, Usman. All right, so I'm preaching to the choir here, right? I don't think anybody in this webinar would say automation is bad, or that we don't want to use automation, right? So we all know the benefits. We all use a bunch of different tools. Like I mentioned, a lot of the tools that Jeff is going to talk about, you are probably either using them or you know of them, right? So please, keep that in mind and think about how you can use those automations for your business. And we all know that ultimately what drives our business forward is additional time on our hands to grow the business, so we're not just running the business day to day and are not able to get our heads out of the water. So if you look at RepairDesk customers and just small businesses in general, everybody agrees on this fact, and more small businesses are starting to use simple automations as well as AI, not only to make things more efficient, but also to generate additional revenue. So we're seeing that across the board, and we think for small businesses, it's still in the early stages to build automations and to use AI. So I think now is the right time to start thinking about these things and to dive in, because if you don't, you are going to fall behind. All right, so cannot stress this point enough, right? Start small. There's a lot to automate, and I think if we look at things objectively, there's probably 40 to 50% of our day that we can automate in some capacity, right? But it can be overwhelming. There's a lot to do. So that's why we have Jeff on, because he is one of the best at this, and he will give you practical, actionable insights on what things to automate. So start there, right? Maybe just copy what he's doing, and then you'll automatically start to see the benefits of those automations, and you can go ahead and replicate those with the other tools that you use. So with that, just two housekeeping items. You all should see a Q&A box. So please ask questions. We will answer them either as we go along, depending on the topic, or at the end. We do have some time reserved at the end. And this time we're also going to have a few polls throughout the webinar, just to keep everyone engaged and to also learn about what you're doing today, so we can tailor the content accordingly. And then we do have a special promotion for anybody who is not using RepairDesk at the end of the webinar that we'll talk about briefly. So with that, Jeff, I will hand it over to you. I'll stop sharing my screen so you can take over.
Okay. Okay, in Zoom, do you want me to share my screen?
If you could, please, yeah.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
can just toggle between the presentation and whatever else you want to show.
Okay, yeah, I've called it Zapier for years. Apparently that's wrong. But Zapier, yeah, has been super useful. It's quite intuitive. They've got AI built in, so you can just kind of punch in what you want it to do, and it'll spit back its best recommendation. You can tweak it from there, which has been useful. But these are the ones that are turned on are the ones I just let run. So the first one I did was customer migration to the newsletter. So what it does is, for anybody that's not familiar with Zapier, it is, how do you describe it? It links software, and the sky is almost the limit. It trying to remember if there's anything that I use that it can't talk with, and I don't think there is. It talks with Slack and RepairDesk and Notion, and Brevo is what I'm using for a newsletter. I used to be on MailChimp, which it integrates with, but I switched to Brevo. It was a little bit, well, I think it was a lot more affordable, and I liked that about it. So what this does is it has a trigger, and then it has actions. And so the trigger is in RepairDesk when a new customer is added. It filters for if we get an email, because sometimes we don't get an email from a customer, and then you can't add them to your newsletter, obviously. So it checks to make sure there's an email. And then what it does is it creates the customer, it copies all their data into Stripe, which is how we do some invoicing for subscription billing, and then Brevo for the newsletter. So every time we get a new customer in RepairDesk, boom, they automatically get populated in these other places. So that's the first one I ever set up. It was super easy. The other thing is Notion. Notion we'll look at in a little bit, but that one is the database for everything related to our business. Usman set me up on it, made a good recommendation, and then I basically lived for a few months inputting everything that's in my brain into Notion. We have it set up on all the shop computers so that all the staff have access to it. There's an app too. And again, it's putting everything into one location so that all the information that normally is in my brain that people would ask me questions about, they can just now go check Notion. And they love to hear that when they ask me questions at the store and I say, go check Notion. And they roll their eyes and then they go and find the information. So the other thing is a weekly to-do list. I set this up. I need to tweak it a little bit, but it's just a good example of what you can do. So in Zapier, you have a schedule you can set up, and then it just sends these basic to-dos like empty all the garbages and a cleaning list, and it puts it into the to-do list in Notion every week. I think there was a limitation in Notion that made me do this through Zapier instead of just directly in Notion doing a recurring list. They may have fixed that by now, I'm not sure, but I've just left it in here. So here's a good one. I've got ADHD for sure. I'm sure a lot of other business owners do, or if you don't, you understand what it's like at least, because there's 10 billion things being thrown at you all day long. So I have to set myself many reminders and many flashing lights when something important is happening. So this one here is when a ticket status changes in RepairDesk. When something gets, we've got custom statuses set up. So when there's a ticket that needs parts ordered, they change the status to need to order parts. Or when something needs my specific attention, maybe it's a MacBook board repair that I have to look at, or just something that needs my opinion on or a second look at, they change it to needs Jeff's attention. That's the other status. And so when the ticket statuses change in RepairDesk, it filters for this one is need to order parts. It sends me a message in Slack. So I get a pop-up message with the information, the customer name, the ticket ID. It says that it needs my attention or parts ordered, and I get a Slack notification right away. So that one is useful. I do check those filters with the new RepairDesk ticket listing and the easy drop-down filters. I check that every day, but these extra notifications really help me to remember and to stay on top of that. The next one is our on-site and calendar notifications. So we book on-site and remote and in-store tech support for customers, whether they're consumers or businesses. And what we needed to do was put them on a calendar, right? And doing that manually every time was a huge pain. So what we have now is this automation. So in RepairDesk, there's a new ticket created. It filters. It checks the manufacturer. So we have everything under tech support and then these services for on-site or remote or whatever. So it filters for the right manufacturer of on-site support. It sends a Slack message with the appointment details to our on-site channel so that everybody's aware that we've got a new booking happening. It updates the ticket automatically, so it changes its status to scheduled. It takes the start time from the ticket and the end time from the ticket, which we just give an hour time slot. And then it creates the event in our Google Calendar. So it takes all the customer data and it pops it into an appointment in the calendar. And then I also have an additional item here where it copies that data into a Notion database item, which is actually a calendar within Notion. And in the store, I should have taken a picture, but in the store we have a TV on the wall up against the door that we exit the back area and go into the front. There's a big TV there with a dashboard which shows the booking calendar on it. And it pulls that data from Notion. And so every day when we're walking in and out, we can see, okay, we've got, 4 appointments today on that calendar, and it's nice and visually obvious. And so that takes care of when we do a booking in store, we just create a regular old ticket. We select tech support and then on-site or remote or in-store. And what we do is we set the due date of the ticket. Normally we don't touch that, but with this automation, the due date is the appointment time. So if the appointment is tomorrow at 10 a.m., we select the due date of tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then this automation puts it into the calendar tomorrow at 10 a.m. and uses up a 1 hour time slot. And so that one is probably the most important. It helps us make sure we're not double booking, and it puts all that appointment information into our calendars. So the next one we use is Stripe integration. Stripe I've set up so that we can do subscriptions. And so we've just started dabbling with this this year. I guess it's the end of the year. But what we have are business support subscriptions. So small businesses that don't have an IT department and don't want to pay for managed services that are, hundreds or thousands of dollars a month, they come to us. And we charge them a fee that's equal to our rush service fee. And then this small business gets rush service on any ticket they book in. We give them a small amount of 15-minute remote sessions per month. So if their receptionist has a email problem, they can call us, we dial in, we fix it. And so they pay this every month. So we set up the subscription and the product in Stripe. And when there's a new, it gets renewed every month. So when a new invoice is created in Stripe, it takes that information, it creates the invoice in RepairDesk, and then it sends me a message. So the limitation to this is it creates the invoice in RepairDesk, but it doesn't apply the payment. I'm thinking now, I wonder if it could, so I'll have to look at that. But in the meantime, it sends me a message in Slack that, hey, a new subscription was billed, go and apply the payment. So I just go into RepairDesk and I click Stripe as a payment. And I might actually be able to automate that too. So I'll look into that. So this is a great way if you want to do subscriptions of some sort, whether it's like a business support or a device protection plan is the next thing we set up. You can do it through Stripe if you can't do it with the new, RepairDesk integrated subscriptions. That's a good way to do that. And now for the big one, the last automation that is eaten up literally hundreds of hours, but it's been worth it, is the more customized integration with WooCommerce. So this one has been a fun one, but essentially what it does is it lets me send specific device information up into WooCommerce variable products. And that is
And Jeff, how much time does it create you to take you to create one variable product on your WooCommerce store?
I've kind of pared it down a little bit. So the end goal here was to have a single product page. I'll pick one that we have lots of inventory on. I think the 14s somewhere. Have a single product page for a device type, like the 14 Pro. With the old integration with WooCommerce, with RepairDesk, it worked just fine, but you'd have a single trade-in product and it would upload it to the website as a single page. And when it was sold, it would show out of stock. And so we would, unless you manually went in there and deleted your sold products, you'd have pages and pages of sold inventory, and customers would think, oh, you've got nothing in stock. And I have this in stock filter over here, but, they wouldn't look for it or wouldn't know to click it. So this here is the end goal, which I'm pretty proud of. So now we have a single page, just like you see on a lot of other websites, where you can choose your capacity, color, condition, and boom, it shows you one in stock. And so the variable product in WooCommerce is a single product, and then it has these variations. And each variation has a unique ID associated with it. And so what I found was that with Zapier, we can point a single serialized device in RepairDesk. We give it the SKU, which matches that identifier in WooCommerce, and then they are linked. And so how I have it set up is so that when inventory is updated in RepairDesk, it filters. Right now, it's just filtering for my category of devices. It also formats the price, the sale price and the regular price. And then it splits into these paths here. And again, there's more conditions, but basically it's checking to see, okay, if the product is on sale, it's going to format and apply this price. If the product is not on sale, it's going to just do it normally and format it a certain way. And what it does is now it updates the price and the stock quantity of these serialized devices that I have in RepairDesk, and it just sends them up to this single product page. So this single product page, I'm still working on its final design, but essentially this page is going to now live on the website forever. I will never have to change it. I won't have to delete it. I won't have to update it. Once I'm done doing them all, you can work on your SEO integration, because this page is what the search engines will crawl and keep. And all I have to do in RepairDesk is send my trade-in inventory to a serialized product which already exists, and then this updates automatically. And so it was a ton of work to set up and figure out, but now that it's here, as soon as I'm done adding all the products in, the work's all done. And it's actually less work than it was before. So that was pretty exciting to get that figured out and done. And it was all thanks to this automation that I was already familiar with, using it through Zapier. It gives you really good control over what you can do.
For customers who are listening, good news is since Jeff has done a lot of work, we'll take these learnings and we'll be launching product variant support hopefully by end of next quarter with WooCommerce and Shopify. Obviously, this is a lot of work on our end, and a lot of businesses who already have a store on Shopify and WooCommerce, they have shared this feedback with us where, let's say, if the product is available in different sizes or colors, they're not able to do it today. But with our upcoming update and our advanced software package, they will be able to do that. So very excited about it. And this is one of the features our team is working on. I believe our team was speaking to you earlier as well regarding this, or
Yeah.
they were okay. Yeah. So we'll be reaching out to our customers to learn more, and we want to make sure that whatever we develop fulfill our customers' workflow needs, so they don't have to spend a lot of their work. They do that in RepairDesk, and it mirrored that information online. But kudos to Jeff for doing such a fantastic job on setting everything up in Zapier that integrates with RepairDesk. I really like your idea of using Brevo as an email marketing tool. Could you please tell us a bit about your experience of using Brevo, and what kind of newsletters you send, and how's the response so far? Because I still believe email is the king, and a lot of repair store owners don't use that.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. It was I can't remember now. They had some sort of sale a few months ago where I think it was like 40% off. So I can't remember exactly how much it cost, but it was significantly cheaper than MailChimp. So I switched over then. And again, they have the usual, really cheap plan, and then better plans if you don't want their logo at the bottom, and so on and so forth, depending on what you want to do. All I use it for is email newsletters, but they do actually have a lot more. They've got SMS campaigns. You can integrate it with your Facebook and Instagram feeds, and I think it will also do like those browser pop-ups. I don't know if our customers will like that or understand that, but they have a lot of options for how you can send out your marketing. Ours have been pretty good. I'm pretty bad and inconsistent about actually sending them out, but we're getting a 30% open rate. That one was a 40% open rate in November. 22% was on the day of Black Friday, and so on. And now I'm working on our Boxing Week one. I'm going to do that next. But it's quite intuitive. I set up a template. And inside that template, I have an area to put in products from the website that they can click on, updates, tech tips, neighborly news is a section I have. So I'll talk about one of our business neighbors in the neighborhood, because we all send each other business and so on. So I like to do that. And with that template built initially, it'll take you a little while to perfect it. But after that, you just go in, create a new campaign, choose your template, and then you just start filling in the blanks, and then fire it off, and you can schedule it and so on. So that one is, it's pretty easy to use, and it's affordable. So I like that a lot.
Okay, cool. Let's look at Slack or other integrations. Answer, you want to add something?
Yeah, just one quick question, Jeff, I need your help with. So Bill asked, these products that you are syncing with WooCommerce, are you putting them in as trade-ins in RepairDesk or just serialized phones?
So that's another integration I forgot to talk about. So we use Reusely. It's a fantastic widget, trade-in piece of software. Reusely is got a built-in widget here that I have on the website. And basically what it does is it lets you tie in to the big guys. So in the back end, you can choose where your pricing source is coming from. So rather than setting your prices and updating them all the time, which is what I used to do, I found these guys because they were working with RepairDesk on an integration, and it is again a game changer. It's also super affordable. I'm pretty sure there was a RepairDesk coupon for it at one point. And it's saved countless hours, probably hundreds of hours. They've got all this built in. You pick and choose your categories. We just buy Apple products, so that's all I have on here, but they have tons. So the customer can come here. They can pop in the device that they've got. Here's an iPhone 13. You choose the capacity, the condition, and you can edit all of these available conditions and the description of it. They confirm, they pop in their info. So when they pop in their info, you get it in the back end of Reusely. You get an email notification. And long story short, when we purchase this device, once we've tested it, confirmed it's good, and purchase it, it gets sent down automatically into the trade-in module in RepairDesk. So once it's there, we send all of our devices now into serialized inventory. There's quite a few advantages of doing that, which I wrote down, and I'll do that on a separate day. But there's quite a few advantages of moving it to serialized inventory. And so the Reusely module sends it to the trade-in, and then we transfer it from the trade-in to serialized inventory. And now I forgot what the question was. Did that answer it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So basically, how the information flows. So we got it then. Yep. So trade-in deserialized. So awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, the Reusely integration is super fantastic. It manages everything up to the point of when you buy it. So it sends the customer the details of their trade. It bugs them. If they do it online and they don't drop it off, it bugs them and reminds them to drop it off. And then it sends them status updates as you're testing it, when it's ready for payout, and then once it's paid.
That's awesome.
If anyone who's interested in using Reusely, I believe RepairDesk customer gets 20% discount with them. You can try it out, and if you would like to sign up, please reach out to us, and we'll help you avail 20% discount with them.
Yeah, it's well worth it.
Right, awesome. So Jeff, what's next on the list?
Let's see. Okay, there's Notion. We want to look at that.
Yeah, let's do that. I think SOPs are very important. So while you pull that up, I'm going to launch the poll about what customers are using currently for SOPs and documentation.
Bring it over and I'll share. Okay, we can see that now.
Yep.
Okay, so Notion, it's another piece of paid software. I think I'm paying about $100 Canadian a month. It's by user, so I have it shared with each of my full-time staff members. But then you can also share with people outside of the organization. So I have, a page of suggestions for RepairDesk that I have shared with them. That doesn't cost you extra. I have it shared out to my front tills so that the front tills can access the information that's in here. And it doesn't cost us extra. It's shared as like a guest user. So it's only my full-time staff members that you have to pay for because they are constantly in here and I assign them tasks and things like that. So depending on how big your team is, it may not cost you anything at all. If it's just you, it's free to a certain extent. But basically, it's a monster. There's a huge following for it. The one downside is it's not offline. It is online only. So if your internet goes down for some reason, you won't be able to access it. But this is the database for, like I mentioned, everything that's in my brain. Whenever a staff member would ask me a question, I put it in Notion. The end goal is that no one will have to ask me questions. Not that I don't like answering them, but eventually one day I'm going to want to retire or focus on, maybe another location one day once this one is perfected, and we'll see about that. But everything is in here. So there's team info, there's shop supplies requests, there's morning meetings, vacation and sick day policies, and cost of living and raises and benefits information and break and blah, 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 blah. All our policies and procedures and services we offer, right? Because people ask, oh, do we want to fix this thing? It's all in here. Standard operating procedures, and you can organize it by tags. So things like service guides, inventory information, ticket information, how we want people to do our quality control process. It's all in here in step-by-step information. So it is super powerful that way. Another common one is our to-dos and projects. So this is our daily to-dos and projects page. This is the automation that came in from Zapier, the empty the garbages. Anything that we need to get done, I pop it in here. You assign it to someone. You can tag it. You can see I've got tags for daily to-dos versus projects. You can prioritize. You can filter. It's huge. It's huge what you can do with it. And a lot of work to set up, of course, just like anything worth doing. But now that it's here and it's in use, it's building, the legacy. If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, the business can continue running based on the information that I've put in here. If a staff member leaves or we pick up a new guy, all the training is in here. So that's, yeah, it's also been invaluable to organizing the business. We also have, there's a technical area in here. There we go, technical support index. So all of the information about how to fix something. I know a lot about Apple. My main tech knows a lot about networking and Windows. So we are inputting our knowledge in here so that if one of us is away, somebody else can continue on with that job based on these repair guides. Things like this JCID programmer, we've got information about using it for battery cores and programming iPad screens so that the pencil works, that kind of thing. It's all in this database, or wiki if you want to call it. It's like a wiki. So that's what Notion is, and Notion again has AI built in. That one's super useful. We have a list here that we use often for trades, since we're talking about devices and such. We have our retail device prices. Don't judge me on these. We're in Canada, and we're in a fairly high-end market. So we sell them high, and we offer a full year warranty, and we go through them because I guess trying to think of the word here, but when you walk into our store, we get a lot of compliments. We don't look like a repair shop. We look like, an Apple store or a Best Buy, something like that. We keep all our repairs and everything hidden in the back. It's a magical mystery to the customers. And in the front, we keep everything very clean and high end so that we can charge high end prices, and it works. So these are all our retail prices. And in Notion here, if we pop this little AI guy at the bottom, I can say, what is the retail price? Because maybe we don't have this in stock and the customer's looking for something for an iPhone, let's say 13 Pro Max, 512 gigabyte. Let's see what it pops back.
Maybe it's a check RepairDesk.
Yeah. So this, yeah, in RepairDesk we have the prices for current, but here we keep it just like the whole list of whatever, and this is where we'll update it. And when we get a new thing in RepairDesk, then we refer to here. But here it says, according to the data, iPhone 13 Pro Max, 512 gig with storage, retail price will be $13.99. So it gives information like that. The other thing you can use it to ask is, what is the return policy for a retail accessory? Let's say somebody's trying to return a charging cable. So rather than digging through, they could just punch in their question here at the front counter. And there it is. Returns or exchanges sit within 7 days, 10% restocking fee, return to store credit, etc. So that's Notion in a nutshell. And like I said, it's a monster. It can do a lot.
So, Jeff, a lot of repair stores struggle with creating SOPs. Any advice you have for them, where to get started and how to go about creating SOPs?
I mean, in Notion, we just created the main database for SOPs, and then I just started putting them in. The way I always word things when someone is typing in, whether it's ticket notes or they're writing up a how-to guide, or editing an SOP, or I'm adding the SOP, you always try to take a step back and read it as if it's the first time you've walked into the building, right? Ticket notes have to be able to be read by your receptionist that isn't tech savvy. Same with SOPs. It has to be able to be read in a very easy, no super technical jargon unless it's something that requires that, but just has to be written in a way that a person who started with you today can read it and it makes complete sense. So that's the biggest tip, is that take a step back and write it as if you don't understand what it means. Make sure that when you're reading it, or get somebody to test it, get your spouse to read it, or your kid, if they're old enough. And if it makes sense to them, it will make sense to your staff. And if it doesn't make sense, then you need to rewrite it so that it does, because the point of the standard operating procedure is that it's going to be standardized for whoever is doing it. So that's the biggest tip, is to take a step back and make sure that it will make sense to someone who doesn't understand your business.
Got it. Yeah, thank you so much. This is helpful. On my end, what I do is, let's say, and now ChatGPT, Gemini makes it very easy to create these documents, and you can do them pretty fast as well. I'm pretty sure you can do that in Notion as well. Let's say if I'm working with one of my team members and we have to create an SOP, perhaps I ask them, okay, how do you do that today? And just put that as a prompt in ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever you're using, and ask it to create a document. And within 30 minutes, it creates, or within few minutes, it creates a very good document. So I would highly encourage all repair store owners to use some sort of a documentation tool where they store that information. In RepairDesk, we also use Notion for documenting all the user stories for the product team, but we have a very extensive internal knowledge base, which is as extensive as our external knowledge base. We use Zoho Connect. So yeah. And sir, would you like to add any experience you have on the internal knowledge base? one of the company Ansar previously worked was probably doing a knowledge base for employees as well.
Yeah, I think just like what Jeff said, right? Pick one or two topics and get started there. And as you can see, Jeff's Notion is a very complex setup, right? So it can be overwhelming. Get started for free in Google Docs if you have to. The important part is just to start documenting, and then you can go ahead and move things over. But start small and go from there.
Yeah, I've moved all my, sticky notes and Apple reminders and everything else into one place. So I have my owner task list, which is my daily task. It's huge. But anything that I need to get done, I pop it in there. You can set reminders, you can assign or share the task or project with other people. It's really been helpful for managing everything.
Awesome. All right. Jeff, should we move on to the review of automation?
Yep. Let's see here.
Awesome. And while you do that, I'm going to launch the
Window.
poll question for how many reviews everyone is collecting. As everyone knows the importance of Google reviews, so Jeff is going to show you how he maximizes his Google reviews and ensures that he stays at the top of those SEO rankings.
Yep.
Incoming
I'll
call.
try and show you, but I honestly don't remember because it is automated. Originally we have the campaigner module set up. I still have this activated, even though, so we're using RepairDesk Connect and Phone Pro, which I love. That's been fantastic. I have, again, a list of the advantages of that I've written down that I'll maybe put on YouTube at some point here. But there is also the built-in reviews to connect, which is awesome. So in the beginning, the review campaign, so here's what it does, is automatically sends a text and an email a day after the customer picks up their device. You can edit that time, you can tweak it, you can change it however you want and change the message and all that. But when a customer picks up their device, a day later, they get a message and an email saying, hey, how was your experience? If it wasn't great, please let us know right away because we're awesome and we'll do whatever we can to fix it. And if it was great, click here and it opens up a Google review. We help a lot of seniors who don't know exactly how to do that or whatever. So they'll usually just reply to the email or send their review right back in the text. So it makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside, but doesn't help with our Google rankings. But that works out too. And otherwise, everybody else clicks the link and they leave a Google review. So I just counted, we got like 18 in November and 10 so far in December, which is pretty awesome. And as part of Connect here, you can see your reviews right inside RepairDesk and you can reply to them. I'm a little bit behind here, but you can reply to the review. You can generate a reply using AI and hit send. I usually tweak it a little bit, but it will do that work. See there, we're incredibly grateful that you took the time out to leave us such a positive review, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so it does a good job at that if you want to do it that way. I like to keep mine a little bit shorter, so I usually just say thanks, which is, I think, maybe not the best. I think somebody mentioned that your replies on Google will also get crawled by search engines, so I'll have to work on that. But yeah, we've got, almost 600 reviews now. We've been open for 4, 5, 6 years officially, something like that. So I'm quite pleased with that, and it's been because of these automations when we do tickets. You can ask people to do a Google review and they'll say yes, and maybe they'll do it when they remember, but it wouldn't be nearly this many because this just makes it really, really easy. And for those that maybe don't know how or need a little help, we have one of those stands in the store that has a QR code and an NFC on it. So they can tap that and it will pop open the Google page and we can help them do it that way if they want to. So between those two things, it's helped us get very consistent reviews every day, every week, every month.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jeff, there's a bunch of people commenting on the number of reviews. Yeah, 595 is huge. And not only that, but more impressive, I think, is the 4.9 rating, right?
Yeah.
So it clearly shows that you are delivering an amazing experience each and every time. And there's a couple of people who are asking more details. I'll just give a quick 30-second overview, right? So in RepairDesk Connect, there's a bunch of different settings, but essentially, like Jeff said, you can control when messages go out to people. And normally it's within 24 hours of them visiting the store, and it just serves as a reminder to leave you a review. And if you simply ask, you're going to see a good conversion rate there. And then, like Jeff said, if you want to supplement that with a QR code or an NFC chip, you can go ahead and do that. But these two simple actions alone will probably get you somewhere between a 20 to 40% conversion rate, depending on your audience, right? Obviously, if you are in an area with older folks who are maybe not as comfortable with technology, that might be lower. If you're in a very tech savvy place like New York City or say, San Francisco, you might get a higher conversion rate, but you can kind of look at a few different options and figure out what's best for you.
Yeah, you can see in Connect here, there's a feedback beta, which will let you further communicate with those customers if their response is not fantastic. It'll grab them before they can leave a bad review so that you can fix the problem. I just haven't set that up yet.
Jeff, a quick question. How many reviews you were getting before you started using this automation and versus today?
I couldn't tell you. I've been using it since I signed up with RepairDesk, right? So since early 2020.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'd have to go back and look, but it makes a huge difference for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we started working with one repair store in Atlanta who wasn't using it. They were receiving 5 reviews before. And after this, they're receiving consistently 25 to 30 reviews per month. And as you know, these in service business, reviews are everything. The more reviews, positive reviews you have from customer who are mentioning their device name and all that information, it definitely helps. So good job over there. And especially like Ansa mentioned, 4.9 rating. I mean, even RepairDesk doesn't have that rating. So we are at 4.7 at Capterra. So I'm already feeling bad now.
It's hard to compete with Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the slide for Notion here. Yeah, things like part of the stepping back from the store eventually, or when I am, at home, like today when it's freezing out and I didn't want to leave the house. In Notion, it has a messages database. And so when someone gets a message or a question that they can't answer that needs my attention, they put it into that message area, and it again will send me a Slack message, and it tags me in Notion. There's a there we go, an inbox, so you can see what's happening in here if you need to look after any messages, special order requests, and so on. So that's all in here.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's it for Notion. Yeah, what we record.
Yeah, let's take a look at perhaps Slack. How do you use Slack? Because some people are using Discord and are you on the free version or are you on the paid version? I assume you're
I'm just using the free version of Slack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll share that out and we'll see what's in there. So yeah, I think the limitation is it only saves a certain amount of data. Yeah, it looks like okay, before October or July. Yeah, it's been archived. So it just saves a certain amount of data, but we use Slack for just like quick communication that we don't need a record of necessarily. Simple questions. if they want to remind me again about the thing they've reminded me about 5 times, send it in Slack. And then we have these automated channels for on-site, right? When you can see it came in from Zapier, it's an automated notice about, okay, a new on-site has been booked. Looks like today they booked a new one-on-one session with a customer. So that pops in here just so I get a heads up that, okay, more things are coming in. We can ask questions about open tickets, little reminders or questions and such. You can reply in a thread. We have one for schedule. So if someone's going to be late, right? Vova yesterday was late. He just let us know, had a doctor's appointment. He puts it into the schedule channel in Slack there. And then there's apps that you can tie in with it. So there's Notion and Zapier that tie in with Slack, and you can send messages and stuff that way. So we use it for quick, instant communication that is you don't necessarily need a history of. Anything that we need a history of, we put it into Notion.
Yeah. And one thing I highlight here is, right, all the tools that Jeff is showing you, those are just one option, right? So let's say you try out Slack, you say, you know what, I'm not a big fan, I want to use Discord. For most folks, it'll serve the same purpose, right? So I think for every tool that Jeff has showed you, there's probably 5 to 7 alternatives that'll work just as well for your business. And maybe some of those will work better for your business because it's going to be different than Jeff's needs, right? So just keep that in mind. There is no shortage of SaaS tools that you can use for automation and efficiency.
And Zapier is the one that ties them all together.
Interestingly, yeah. We were also using Slack, and we were getting a bill of around probably $1,000 per month, because we have a lot of team members who are using Slack, and I'm always looking for ways to save money, and we switched to Discord, which is free of cost. And Discord also have integration with Zapier. So yeah, I mean, whenever a new customer sign up, we get a notification over there, and we have developed a bunch of integrations on top of it. So Discord is pretty good, but not as good as Slack. So since we want customers, our chat history, so we continue to use Discord for now internally.
Awesome. Jeff, does that pretty much cover everything that we had on the list?
I think so. I'm just going through it here. Yeah, I guess just another mention about e-commerce and WooCommerce. The questions are, so we haven't done a good job about, I say we, it's me. I haven't done a good job with my website. My last couple businesses, I started with a website, and then it turned into a store. This one kind of started with a store. I'm finally focusing on the website. We don't really sell much online, and I'm hoping to change that through finally get this updated, and having all our products listed. And so I'm pretty picky, so a lot of my time is just spent building the interface that the customers are seeing and trying to perfect that. All of these retail accessories, these ones are not done through Zapier or anything else. I just have the device categories checked to sync with WooCommerce inside RepairDesk directly. So it automatically updates the inventory on these and the product information and the pricing. It does that without any work for me. You just check it on and you point it to the right category, and then it does that. So the only customization that I had to do was just for the devices, just for the purpose of having many products show up under one page on the website. So that's why that was so much work. The rest of this just works on its own. And you just point it to the right category. So that's what I'm working on now, is getting all of our retail products listed online so that we can try and hopefully start selling some things and shipping. And there's actually one product, which I'm not going to say, it seems to be a secret product that Mobile Centric stocks, and I needed one for myself, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I realized they had them, and so I started stocking them and I put them on the website, and now we've sold a few of them every week since I got them on there all over Canada. So I bought up the rest of their inventory, and hopefully they get more. And if they do, then I'll tell everybody else what that product was, so you can start stocking it too. But it's an older Apple accessory. That's all I'll say about that. But that's kind of got me lit a little fire to try and finish getting the rest of our products properly categorized and shown on the website. And so the integration between RepairDesk and WooCommerce is easy. That part works. It's just getting it to show up on the customer side in a way that I like, that is taking up my time now. So hopefully I can finish that.
Incoming call.
No, that's Phone Pro telling us there's a phone call coming in. When customers do make an order online, it sends it down directly into RepairDesk. So I get the invoice in RepairDesk with the payment method and all that lined up, and we just print it off and box it up and ship it out. So that's another built-in integration that works well. And I think that's it.
It's awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, Jeff. This was all very, very helpful. I'm sure everyone walked away with at least 2 or 3 things that they can start working on right away, which was the goal of the webinar. So thank you again for your time. I've just got a couple quick slides to wrap up. Give me just 1 second. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Perfect. Okay. So as you all can imagine, right, we really believe in the ethos that Jeff was talking about this entire time. We love automation. We love integrations. So that's why we are the most integrated repair point of sale, right? So whether it's your accounting system like QuickBooks or Zapier or Stripe or any of the suppliers that you see on the screen here, the goal is to make your life easier and to give you less work to do manually. Right, so please, if you're not already using RepairDesk, reach out to us and we'll go ahead and provide you with all the information we can about how RepairDesk can work for your business. And in the just to save some time, we'll just skip to the last slide. So we are running a special holiday promotion where we will give you 3 or 6 months free, depending on the plan that you purchase. So please reach out to us. You can do that by simply replying to the email that you got as part of this webinar, and we'll go ahead and have somebody reach out. So with that, that's everything from my end. Usman, any last parting words before we sign off?
No. Thank you so much, Jeff, for taking your time out on a cold morning and deciding to share your wisdom and how you use RepairDesk. You are always the first one to recommend RepairDesk whenever someone asks on Self-Owned Repair Shop Talk. And really want to thank you for all the support you have given RepairDesk during the past 4 years, and look forward to working closely with you to launch product variants in end of Q1. Very excited about that. I've mentioned probably 3 times already because I believe that will help online businesses who are selling online. It will make their life a lot easier. So yeah, maybe this is the last webinar for this year. We do plan on doing webinars 2 or 3 times a quarter. So where we share knowledge on how to use RepairDesk, and we'll have probably Jeff again. We'll see about his schedule on how to use RepairDesk inventory system, or we'll talk to Jeff more about it. But that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone, and hope you guys have a great Christmas.